How to build, edit, and utilize surveys. In this video, we'll walk you through how to build, edit, and utilize a survey. To start with, let's cover the difference between a form and a survey. Surveys utilize logic to determine if a lead is of quality or not, so you can qualify or disqualify leads using a survey, whereas a form is just a tool to gather information about a potential lead or customer. Basically, you can accomplish a little bit more with a survey. It does a little bit more work for you on the front end so that you don't have to. I'm going to walk you through how to build a survey so that you can utilize it to its full potential. You can use a survey to determine the quality of a lead from the beginning. To begin with, we've created a demo survey here, just as you would in forms. You can utilize both standard and custom fields. I've added in a custom field here. If you want to edit it, you can click on it, and you'll see the options to edit the field, choose a title for the placeholder, make it required or not, and more. Then here you'll see the logic option. This is where you would determine if they selected one option or the other, what action would be taken to determine if the lead is of quality or not. For example, if they selected younger than 35, right here under younger than 35, you can determine if you want to advance them to the next slide or not. Now we haven't added another slide yet, but you can choose to advance them to the next slide, and then you can create that next slide. Or you can disqualify them immediately, and you can already determine if you want to disqualify them after they've submitted as well, and allow them to fill out the full survey. This option would push them through the whole survey, but then they would still be disqualified. So you can choose whatever options are best for you to determine what happens next and if you want anything to happen. Now we can add a new slide. So I'm going to add another custom field here. We're going to just pull in this one, and like the previous one, we can edit this here. I can change the field title, I can add a placeholder, and it'll populate right here with this drop-down menu that says yes or no. So I'm going to remove that and make this required. And again, for the logic here, we can determine if they answer yes, if we want them to advance to the next slide, or if we want them to be pushed back to the previous slide, if we want them to be immediately disqualified, or perhaps we want them to be disqualified after they've submitted the entire survey. So on to our last slide. For this video, I'm going to just create these 3 slides to make it short and easy. You can utilize the first few to determine if the lead is of quality or not, and then use the final slide to gather contact information, just like you would in a form. So here we would add something like first and last name and email. You don't necessarily need to add a button to submit it, because that will automatically generate once you've added this survey into your funnel. Now let's go back and decide the actions we want to take again. You can do this while creating the slides themselves. So here, let's just say if they're younger than 35, they're disqualified immediately. If they're older than 35, let's advance them to the next slide. And if they like enjoyable things, let's say if they select yes, then they are disqualified. If they select no, then they'd be advanced. So in this case, the person that would qualify as a lead here would be someone that's older than 35 and someone that does not like enjoyable things. But you can have this set up however you want. This is just an example. And again, you can add both standard and custom fields to this to be whatever you want and however you need this set up for your business. That's the beauty of utilizing surveys. They're completely customizable. And then for this last slide, there's no option to qualify or disqualify your lead, because this is purely for information purposes so that you have their contact information, such as name, an email address, or phone number, or something like that. So now let's discuss the customizable features of your survey. There are several style options you can customize. You can show the label or not right here, and you can customize so many other pieces too. You can choose a background color, font, etc. You can include any custom code that you'd like as well. And then if you go here to options, you can change the name of the survey on submission. This is what's going to happen when they fully submit the survey. Once they've completed all your slides, what would you like the redirect option to be? Now, this is not a requirement, but once you're building out your funnel and you've added the survey to your funnel, if you don't select a redirect option, you will have to add in a separate one to the funnel itself. If you don't have one selected at all, it will appear like this, as if your survey doesn't work at all. Here you can add a message, or maybe you want to open a new URL. These are the different actions that will take place. If you've determined that you want the lead to be disqualified immediately, they can be served with a message, or again be redirected to a new URL. Same thing if they're disqualified after submit. It's the same idea. There's just some additional options that you can customize here. So overall, these are the general options that you have for building, editing, and utilizing surveys. Feel free to customize one or multiple surveys for your system however you need. And congratulations, you're all set. You know how to build, edit, and utilize surveys for your business.